I went to Tupperware in Hemingway to apply for a job, and at the same time, Carl's sister was there applying for a job as well, and she and I met. We both got hired on night shift, and she invited me home one weekend, and I did. I came to Andrews and met her brother Carl, and then I left my aunt's house, moved in with who is now my sister-in-law, and then Carl and I dated 3 months and got married, and here we are 35 years later.
I was the son he didn't have, because I would always go hunting with him, always quiet in the tree stand. We would go fishing, hunt squirrels, hunt deer, rode four-wheelers, go camping. I really was the son he didn't have.
When Carl first found out we were going to have a grandchild, he was hoping it'd be a boy because we had 2 girls, and he was hoping that it would be a boy. And he knew it was a boy. He knew what each one of those children would be. He knew this one would be a girl before she found out it was a girl. Yeah.
He was actually diagnosed with his brain tumor on May 25th, 2008, in Georgetown. And he passed on July 25th, 2015 in Georgetown.
He had developed a fever, and he had just had a bone marrow biopsy the day before, so I was correlating the fever to the bone marrow biopsy when we got him to the hospital. And previous to that, he had a cough for 3 weeks prior. When we got to the hospital, after running tests, they found out he had Pseudomonas, which was very difficult to treat. And the doctor, when I finally asked the doctor, you know, what kind of time are we looking at, he told me, he said days, maybe hours. So that's when we knew, you know, time was of the essence.
I called my OB doctor, Dr. Maselli's office, Carolina OBGYN, and asked to move my appointment up because I already had an appointment scheduled on Wednesday. It was just a regular checkup, but I asked them to move it up, so they moved it until Tuesday. And I talked to the midwife, told her what was going on with my dad, and they were like, absolutely, we could go right now and have her if you wanted to. I
told Dr. Basali, and he really tickled me, because as soon as I mentioned Carla being pregnant and the baby was due any time, he was like, and I'm asking him, how can we facilitate him seeing that baby in the ICU unit, because, you know, normally they don't let young children go in there. Well, immediately he just brightened right up, you know. He wanted to know who her doctor was, and it became all about, yes, we can facilitate that.
Just kind of put yourself in their shoes and where they're at and what they might be feeling, and so you just wanted to do everything you could do to make everything go well and just help them be together as long as they could. You know, a man that's dying and wanting to see his grandchild. You know, he had 2 grandsons, and this was the first granddaughter, and I think it was really important to make this happen.
It just seemed like everybody was on board, you know. To me, it felt like it created some excitement in the air.
When she was in labor, I was running back and forth between the 2 all day with updates. Carla would say, go see how Daddy's doing. So I go down there, and as soon as I walked in the door, he'd look at me, baby, baby, not yet, she's coming.
So when it came time for them to come in, oh my gosh, it was just such a joyful time. And I mean, it was a burst of energy in the room, the doctors and the nurses, and getting that baby into the room and taking her out of the incubator, laying her in his hand. His right hand was non-functional, but he could use his left hand, so he was able to hold her in his left hand.
The baby was gorgeous. I mean, she was just a beautiful little baby. And we let the entire family come back. There were, I don't know, probably 10 or so people that were there. And they took pictures and allowed him to hold the baby. And I think he actually did interact with the baby in a very limited way. They all huddled around him and took pictures, and everybody was crying and smiling and laughing and enjoying the moment and knowing that it was probably something that wasn't ever going to happen again.
He didn't have to say anything. We could tell that he was happy, you know, and to have all of us in there together and with her, it was really special. It's a feeling of joy that I can't describe. You know, just being thankful to the Lord, because God is so good.
That was probably his last wish, was to be able to be here to see that happening, and that wish came true.
We are just so appreciative that we had the opportunity we did, and I know that not every hospital would be as accommodating as Georgetown was for us.
Jim is one that really stood out to me, because the first night he was in ICU, he did come and get me. It was around 5 o'clock in the morning, and he let me stay in there for about a half hour. And then the next night he came and got me for maybe about 15 minutes. And that time was precious to me. I know he didn't have to do that.
We would work as much as we could to bring her back during times of the night when he was asleep, when he was resting, to just let her come back and see what was happening with him and what was going on with his care. And you know, she would just come back and just sit by the bed for a while, hold his hand, rub his arm, and then she would leave out.
You know, they're genuinely supportive. They were very understanding. They were there for us the whole time. Anything that we needed, they saw that we got. You know, emotional, being there for Miss Bobby. It meant a lot to the family. And those are things that you take away and you remember years from now of how you were treated in the hospital.
They always asked, can I get you anything? Is there anything y'all need? Anything you need? You know, they would ask Carl if he needed anything, and everybody went above and beyond anything we could have expected. And we were just so touched deeply. I mean, it's hard to put into words. This is one of those times, it's hard to put into words the gratitude that we felt and still feel as we think back on everything that took place. It's just unbelievable.